Christmas deals for PC components are officially here, so if you are thinking of building a new PC for gaming, right now it's a great time. However, if you don't have enough PC knowledge, you may end up getting the wrong PC components, leading to bad gaming performance. That's why in this video I'll show you specific PC build recommendations for 1080p, 1440p and 4K, all budgets included, and most importantly every PC has components that are compatible with each other with no bottlenecks, so you will have an amazing level of gaming performance for your budget and your needs. And don't worry about shipping times, all of them are right before Christmas. The link to all of these PC builds will be down below in the video description with the latest prices and availability in your region. That being said, let's start. With the first PC we have the cheapest one on the list. This one is going to be ideal if you want to play at 1080p resolution, high to ultra settings, even in high demanding titles. And it's also very powerful when it comes to 1440p resolution, especially for the amount of money that you are paying. I will get into the price and level of performance in just a second, but I want to explain that the reason why this system is so great when it comes to value is because you get a Ryzen 5 7600 processor, which is one of the best price to performance CPUs in the entire market for gaming, alongside the Intel Arc B580 graphics card, which is right now the best value graphics card that you can get in the market, especially for 1080p resolution and even 1440p. Now, there's a caveat to this. The Intel Arc B580 is an amazing graphics card, however, it has some driver issues when it comes to newly released games, so if you're the type of person who wants to play every game on day one, then you may have to wait until they fix the issue for that game. Now, keep in mind that Intel always fixes the issue, so that's not going to be a real problem, but if you really want to play on day one, then I recommend you getting the RTX 4060 graphics card or the RX 7600 XT from AMD. Just keep in mind that with those graphics cards, you are going to be spending between 30 to 60 USD more than the B580, and with the 4060, you are getting less VRAM, and some games are already requiring more than 8 gigs of VRAM. That's why the B580 is so amazing when it comes to value. But the second issue with the B580 is the stock. By the time of filming, the B580 is not in stock anywhere, but if you can find it for around 250 to 270 USD, I really think that is an amazing value, once again, especially if you do not play games on day one. In terms of the exact level of performance that you can expect, well, you can expect over 90 FPS on average at 1080p high to ultra settings in high demanding games, and then you can expect over 60 plus FPS at 1440p high to ultra in these same type of games. Now at 1440p you can always turn on the upscaler from Intel and achieve higher frame rates, and I actually recommend you doing that if you are going to be playing high demanding games and you want to play on the ultra preset. Then enabling the upscaler is going to help you achieve higher gaming performance. And then if you want to play esports shooters where you need more FPS, well, with this system you can expect 240 plus FPS on average in most esports games competitive settings at 1080p, and you can expect even higher frame rates in games like Valorant or CS2 where you can expect around 360 plus FPS. So feel free to go with a 360Hz monitor if you want to play at 1080p in very easy to run esports shooters. For the rest of the components, you get 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, which is going to be amazing for streaming and content creation as well. You get an aftermarket CPU cooler with RGB, which is going to be perfect for the Ryzen 5 7600. It's going to keep the CPU temps down, and also it's going to be less noisy while gaming. Then you get an amazing case with 3 pre-installed fans and overall plenty of airflow. And then you get a 1TB SSD, which is enough storage for most people. The price for this system by the time of filming is going to be around 850 USD if you can get the B580 in stock. Now, if you want the best value for 1440p resolution instead, or you want to play at 1080p very high FPS, then I recommend you getting the next system, which has the same CPU in the 7600, because as I said before, it's going to be perfect when it comes to price to performance. But here you get the RX 7800 XT. This graphics card is going to be perfect for 1440p resolution, even in the most high demanding titles. In fact, you can expect well over 90 FPS when it comes to 1440p high to ultra settings in high demanding games. And then if you want to play esports shooters, once again you can expect 240 plus FPS, but this time at 1440p resolution competitive settings, so you can fit a 1440p 240Hz or even 360Hz monitor. Here you also get an 850 watt power supply, so this system is more upgradable than the last one, and the total price is under $1,100, which is a very fair price considering that you can play any game that you want at 1440p, and of course you can play at 1080p very high FPS no matter the type of game. By the way, you can also run some games at 4K, especially if you turn on FSR, which is the upscaler from AMD, but of course it's going to depend on the game and the exact settings. But for the most part, you shouldn't have an issue even at 4K. Here you also get a 1TB SSD and 32 gigs of RAM, so you get the standard for gaming, streaming and content creation at the same time. And then if you want the best level of performance that you can get for 1440p in those high demanding titles, or you want the best value 4K gaming system, then the next PC build is going to be the best one for you, because you get a Ryzen 7 7700X processor, which is an 8-core CPU that's going to be the perfect pairing with the graphics card in this system, which is the RTX 4070 Ti Super. The 4070 Ti Super is an amazing choice for 1440p and 4K resolution gaming, and you can also get the RX 7900 XT from AMD, which is the competition for the 4070 Ti Super. I will explain the differences in just a second, but I want to focus on the level of performance for the 4070 Ti Super right now. If you want to play at 4K, you can expect well over 90 FPS on average if you turn on DLSS quality, which, trust me, I couldn't notice the difference between DLSS quality and native resolution at 4K, and the only game that was performing under 60 FPS was Cyberpunk 2077, which is one of the most high demanding titles out there. However, keep in mind that if you turn down the settings to high instead of ultra and you keep DLSS quality, then you can expect 90 plus FPS in Cyberpunk as well. And once again, I couldn't notice the difference between high or ultra and DLSS on or DLSS off. And then if you want to play at 1440p, you can expect very high FPS, whether it's high demanding games or esports shooters, which, by the way, for esports shooters you can expect over 300 FPS on average competitive settings in most esports games, so you can fit a 360Hz, possibly a 480Hz 1440p monitor depending on the esports shooter that you want to play. Now, the RX 7900 XT from AMD will have very similar performance and it's about 80 to 100 bucks cheaper, so you might be thinking, then why would I get the 4070 Ti Super if it's more expensive and it has about the same level of gaming performance? Well, DLSS, which is the upscaler from Nvidia, works actually better than FSR from AMD. It looks better as well, and on top of that, it has a better level of ray tracing performance, which might not be interesting for you, but if you care about ray tracing, that can be a strong selling point. On top of that, the 4070 Ti Super is usually better when it comes to 3D rendering and content creation or productivity work applications, although I do recommend you checking your favorite application in that case, because the 7900 XT might be better in some of them, but for the vast majority, the 4070 Ti Super is going to be better than the 7900 XT. That being said, if you want the better graphics card overall, I believe the 4070 Ti Super is a better purchase, but if you want the best price to performance just for gaming, then the 7900 XT from AMD is going to be your best option. I made an entire video talking about this, so you can go ahead and watch that. I will leave it in the video description alongside every system. Remember that the pricing for these systems might be different when you're watching this video, because some of these components have the Christmas deals, but you can check the latest prices and availability from the links down below. Now, this PC with the 4070 Ti Super is going to cost you around $1,650, while the 7900 XT system is going to cost you around $1,500 USD, so it's quite cheaper, and both of these PCs are going to be amazing when it comes to 1440p Ultra or 4K resolution as well. And one thing I forgot to mention is that with these systems, you get 2TB of SSD, so you get plenty of storage to install more games. And with the best system in this list, if you want to play at 4K Ultra settings, I recommend you getting the most expensive PC build with the Ryzen 7 7800X3D, which is one of the fastest CPUs in the entire market, and you can run any esports shooter that you want at 400 plus FPS, even 500 plus FPS for most esports games competitive settings. So feel free to go with the 480Hz 1440p or 4K monitor if you want to. And if you want to play high demanding games, here you get the RX 7900 XTX, which is the fastest graphics card from AMD by the time of filming. With this GPU, you will have no issues when it comes to 4K Ultra settings or 1440p very high FPS if you want a future-proof 1440p gaming system. So here you are getting some of the best performance in the entire market, and here you get a 1000 watt power supply, a 240 all-in-one liquid cooler for the Ryzen 7, a very nice looking case with plenty of airflow, 2TB of SSD, you get all that you need, premium motherboard, and the total price is going to be around $2,000 USD. If you have more money to spend, let's say you have between $2,500 USD to $4,000, then I recommend you waiting until the RTX 5080 and 5090 come out, because I do believe the MSRP for the 5080 is going to be around $1,200 to 1500 USD. Now, we don't know the exact price, so I cannot comment on the exact price, but it is going to be quite more expensive than the 7900 XTX, and that's why if you have around $2,000, I do recommend you buying right now. I don't see the point on waiting in that case, but if you have 4090 type of money where you want to spend a lot in your gaming PC, then I do recommend you waiting. And if you don't want to wait, that's totally fine. You will have a bonus PC down in the video description as the fastest PC that you can get right now, which is quite more expensive, and you will also find the best value esports games gaming PC down there, and the best content creation PC in case you want to do both gaming and content creation at the highest level. And if you don't want to go through the process of building a PC yourself because you may find it difficult, then I recommend you watching my video on the best pre-built PCs that you can buy right now for every budget and every resolution. You can find that video in the top right corner of the screen. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.